Everybody live it up.
All right. Welcome to the Unsigned Artist Show After Hours. I'm KB's One, your host, and we have in the virtual studio with us an awesome singer, songwriter, performer from Philly whose music you hear just about every week on the show. On the Unsigned Artist Show on TOKOBL Radio, which speaks to the versatility and the depth of his music. I mean, there's no subgenres here. He is unapologetically true to the funk and R&B, and he brings it at a very high level. So, welcome to the Unsigned Artist Show After Hours, Dondi.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Hey, man.
First, I want to say congratulations on the show. It's growing like crazy. I heard the numbers. Man, it's hot.
Yeah, the numbers are in, man. I'm trying not to let the pressure get to me about, when the numbers come in, if they're doing well, you got to do better. But I think, that the talent and the artistry that you guys are bringing, that's going to be tough not to do. So it's just, I have tons of ideas that we can work on with this. So give our listeners and viewers a brief bio, because I know you got a long history. So,
oh man, I'm recording artist. I'm from Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to all my Philly peeps.
That's right.
I've been doing this singing since I was 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
With the Philadelphia Academy Music Voice Choir.
Oh, okay.
I didn't make a dime at it.
Right.
19, but since then I've been blessed. I fund a full-time band.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I help to pay the bills.
Okay.
I started recording because I had all this in me to get out. I would be walking down the street and I would hear melodies, or I would hear drum licks or bass lines, and I had to get it out. I just had to start recording.
Right.
So I asked my guitar player, he's still my guitar player today, can I record at home? It's like, what's today? Monday? I'll be over Wednesday. Software, man.
Right.
Our producer, and I've been at it ever since.
Hey, man. That's great. You're a creative talent. It's like you have it in your spirit to be creative. I mean, there are certain people who just have it as a gift.
That's that Libra.
There you go. Hey, Libra right here. I mean, it's like it's there, and I'm in amazement because it's like, where did you come up with all these ideas? I mean, I think your discography, if I'm not mistaken, in Spotify dates back to maybe 2016. That when you first did Spotify?
It was my first album I put out, and I've grown as an artist since then. But I got 2 Global Music Awards for that album.
Mm-hmm.
Your Love was the first album, and then I did Imagine That was the album, and the level just kept getting better and better. And last year I put out actually 2 projects. I put out a full album, Don't Call Me Junior. Later on I put out an EP, Diary of a Love Life. And I'm working on a new album now. It's going to be a full length. We really haven't titled it yet.
Right.
Ideas, and that's going to drop before the end of the year.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's impressive because, in an era where people are pretty much putting out EPs that release 4 or 5 tunes at one time. I mean, to be able to produce a whole album and put it out there is very impressive, because right now people try to get is how fast can you get it out? How quickly can you get it out and move on to the next? And man, I just love it. The old school concept of putting a project out there, then pushing it, promoting it, and doing everything you can to make that project a success. And that's great. I mean, a lot of people now put stuff out, they promote it for about a month or 2, then they move on. It's almost like the music has become disposable, and I really hate that because music is not supposed to be disposable.
That's one of the things that I want to do. Is create something that people can go back to and say, I wrote this song about that.
Right.
When that girl hurt him, or whatever, whatever the content. To what I'm putting out.
Right. So did you put out any music prior to the era of streaming? I mean, did you ever have to go through producing like CDs and that sort of thing? Did you go through that experience?
Oh, absolutely. My first three albums were hard copy CDs.
Oh, okay.
The EP was only a streaming release. So, but this album, I'm definitely going to do some CDs. I'm going to do vinyl as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Some vinyl because that's making a comeback.
Vinyl is making a comeback. Yeah. So you actually have been. It's good that you have gone through that process because you've experienced the hustle and the bustle of having to push a CD and that sort of thing, moving into the streaming era where now you post things online and then you pray that it catches on. I mean, how did you make the transition? I mean, has it been an easy transition for you? Or?
What transition? I never made a transition. It's distributorship. The only thing that changes, with the hard copies, I use CD Baby.
Okay.
With the streaming project, I just use Song Trader, which is it's a platform where you can submit music for film placements,
Right.
But they also distribute.
Right.
Majors, plus they do Pandora, Spotify.
Right.
So it wasn't really a difficult thing at all. You just
okay.
The different distributor.
Right. So I think the change I think that had grabbed people the most was you put a CD out and it probably retail anywhere from $10 to $15.
Right.
And maybe you would see a return about half of that. To now where you get 0.33 cents per stream.
Insane.
Yeah, and
I'm with the Recording Academy, and we've gone to Congress a few times about this, about how the streaming services are really not giving the artists their due.
Right.
And the major radio conglomerates, don't even have to have permission to play music anymore. They play it, and the artists get nothing. So,
right.
It's kind of a struggle.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing, and where you feel as though there's an independent factor to it, where you're entitled to money now if you write and produce. And you publish yourself, you're entitled to most of that royalty. But the amount of that royalty is so insignificant to now you have to do a lot of other things to get a return on your investment of time and money. And if you ever do, right? Because I remember, I think if you sell if you have 1 million streams, I think the most you'll get on your return is about $6,000.
Maybe.
If you get it all. I'm not quite sure, and I have to speak to some folks. If you ever have a dispute with one of the distributors, how do you go about rectifying that?
I've never had a dispute with a distributor because the ones I choose send me reports.
Right.
And I basically leave that up to the pro.
Right.
I used to be with ASCAP, but now I've switched over to BMI.
Right.
You like you said, you really have to get up into like the million stream category to see any money.
Yeah.
That's just the way they've taken that over.
They've taken it over. Yeah.
And the majors know that. So if you're an artist and you're signed with Sony,
right.
One of their subsidiaries, whatever, the only way that they're going to get you paid is if you've got 10 million streams.
Right. And a lot of artists don't realize that the percentage of artists that actually fall into that category is very small.
Right.
So you have to figure out how you're going to carve your niche. Because the supply is so great. I mean, I saw where, they uploading something like 20,000 songs a day to some of the streaming platforms. That's a lot of stuff. And, what will draw your audience to you in the middle of all that stuff? Now you have to come with an audience. I mean, you basically have to come with your audience in order to make it. Because if you get in it and now you're trying to find your audience, it can be difficult. It can be real.
That's one of the big things about being an unsigned independent artist.
Right.
It's for labels to look at you and take you seriously. They want you to have all the bells and whistles.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I have all the bells and whistles already.
Why do you need a label? Right.
Oh, 6 in one hand and half a dozen.
I know, right. So what do you see as your vision for yourself?
Oh man, the vision for myself is just to continue to put out music.
Mm-hmm.
What happens with it? I would love for beautiful things to happen with my music and for masses to hear it, but it's really about the art and the journey.
Right.
It's the journey of like when I get a kick pattern in my head, and I put a little bass line and I hear a bass line on top of that and a little guitar lick, and that's the journey, man. That's what gives me joy.
Yeah. That's
it's beautiful.
Spoken like a true musician. I mean, it's all about the music, and if it's in you, it's just in you. I mean, there's a lot of artists here who are in it for other things. They're chasing fame, they're chasing notoriety, they're chasing all these big things. And I don't know if they're in charge of their vision or not. But I think sometimes you have to be realistic with yourself and say, what am I getting? What about this is bringing me joy?
Right.
And
I'm okay otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty happy person. Otherwise, I like my life.
Mm-hmm.
So if I never, get a Grammy Award, life's not over. I'm okay.
Right. But you know what? We're going to be pressing to get you there because the material that I'm hearing, in another day, in another time, we'll be right there. We'll be right there. And it's like, I think there's enough artistry now that's recognizing that we're not promoting the artistry of music anymore. And I'm not quite sure how we get away from that. And there are several reasons for why that happened. But I think we have to get more into promoting the artistry. I always likened the music industry, and I've always compared it to the film industry. And I was always wondering why in film they will be able to take different technologies and create and put on the screen different concepts and have massive audiences flock to see these new things. Whereas in music, it's like cookie cutter. Oh no, it's got to sound one way, or we're not putting it out there.
Absolutely, man. I don't understand. I don't understand it, but I just try to be true to myself.
Right.
I'm writing R&B. I'm calling my music pop soul now. So.
Okay. Oh, you're creating your own genre.
Okay, live horns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's not something people are hearing.
That's right.
Music.
Right.
70s.
Right.
Power and blood, sweat, and tears, and it's just.
But the telling sign is that if you realize how many platforms out there now are playing 70s, 80s, and even 90s music,
right?
Huge following for music from that era.
Right.
So there is a yearning and a yearning for that sound, for that music to come back. It's just a matter of, okay, now how do you bring it back when it's there? It's there and it's basically being used for free.
Right.
So in order to make it, bring it forward, you're going to have a price tag on it, and how is that going to work? But I think the need for it and the yearn for it is still there. And, you can tap into audiences there. That's why people are now able to do oldies shows and concerts and make a living from it.
Absolutely.
You can do that.
Absolutely, man. And I was on Facebook the other day, and I saw Morris Day and the Time.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's right. I mean, and you know what? I would still go see the funk shows. Morris Day and the Time, and Camden, and all those guys.
Lakeside.
Yep. I mean, it's still good showmanship. It's still good music, and people want to see that. And I think. And I think if we don't have a subtle return to that, then I'm not quite sure where the music industry is headed. You know, I think the future of it, is a little suspect at this point. I think it's a little bit in flux. And I don't see any leadership on that end that's taking it over.
But somebody told me a long time ago, just write songs and be true to yourself. So, that's all I'm doing.
Oh man, but you're doing that well,
Fine.
But back up a little bit. How did you get started in music?
How did I get started? Well, when I got out of the service, I was like, I want to sing, because I was singing since I was 8.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking down Stafford Street. Stafford Street.
Yep, Stafford Street. Yep.
Walking down Stafford Street. I think it was like the 900 block. And I heard this band playing, right? But I didn't hear any vocals, right? So I went up and I knocked on the door. And a woman opened the door and I said, my name is Dondi. I hear a band playing. I don't hear anybody sing. Do y'all have a singer? Well, band. She says, why? You a singer? I said, yeah. She said, come on in. And she led me down in the basement. And I told the guys, I'm a singer, and they said, well, you sing? I said, yeah. So they started playing back in every time I move, I lose when I'm in. And it was like, okay. My first gig, and we used to play the corner bars and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just moved on from there, and this band, that band. I sang with Soul the Valiant Force of Nature with Icon
right
for a while, and I've been with my current band Jelly Roll,
right.
And so I've been around for a long time.
Yeah. But you still have that passion, and that's what it's all about, man. As long as you keep that passion,
it's not work because it's fun.
Right.
I tell my wife all the time, if it starts to feel like work constantly, I gotta quit.
Yeah. So what will the post-COVID Dondi be doing? I mean, after all this quarantine stuff is over.
Well, I can't wait to go back performing live with my band, my group. But I want to do some things, with my original stuff. Put some behinds in some seats, and sing to people. Let people know who I am as an artist.
Right.
Because, I have a couple of things to say.
Right. Oh yeah. It's been a while since you've been able to say it. So that first show is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So if you had, there's a couple questions I want to ask you before we close. One, if there would be one artist that you could collaborate with now, who would it be?
There would be one artist that I could collaborate with now. I think that would be Jaheim, probably.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like his style.
Right.
And he's a baritone, touch a tenor, with all together.
Okay. All right. So you know what they say, right? Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah,
Given all your experience, what advice would you give to up-and-coming artists now who are going through the journey? Because one thing we like to do on the show is sort of kind of impart some knowledge and some wisdom on young artists that we kind of learned over the years that may help them along on their journey. So what would you basically, if somebody unsolicitedly came to you and said, wanted to fill you out about what they should do, what would you suggest?
I would tell them that if it's not your passion, if it's not something that you absolutely have to do, or you feel like you can't breathe, do something else. Because all the glitz and glamour of being a musician and being in the record industry and all that, that's a very, very, very small part of it. You have to truly love making records. You have to truly love performing to the point to where if you don't do it, it's like you can't live. If I'm not writing songs, and just for me, if I'm not writing songs, I don't feel whole. I have to do it. It's just something. It's like eating. I have to do it.
Have you ever thought about writing songs for other artists?
Well, I write songs and send them to other people all the time.
Okay.
But yesterday I sent a couple to Anthony Hamilton's manager.
Okay.
So, we'll see what happens. So, I submit replacements all the time.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining us on the Unsigned Artist Show After Hours edition. Man, it's been a long time. I've been trying to squeeze you in here because the schedule's been like, but this has been real, man. I appreciate you. You keep doing what you're doing, man. Sky's the limit. And we're going to be here to support you in however we can. And we're going to keep it up. So say something to your audience and we'll be out of here.
Hey, y'all, it's all about love. It's all about music. Wear a mask. Wear a mask. Tell Lady Ray J I said what's up.
I sure will, man. All right. Take care. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody live it up. Yeah, if you wanna touch the sky, you gotta live it up. Down. I've been thinking, not got nothing but time.